Amina grew up in a small apartment above her uncle's shop in the heart of Al-Noor Bazaar. Every morning, sunlight poured down the narrow market lane in golden stripes, filtered through strips of hanging fabric in every color you could imagine. Vendors shouted their morning greetings. Chickens clucked in woven cages. The air was filled with the smell of fresh bread, cardamom tea, sizzling samosas, and the metallic scent from the nearby spice grinder. It was a place alive with life, but also with constant wanting. In the bazaar, people worked hard, but always looked at what others had. A silk scarf prettier than theirs. A newer stall with bigger customers. A bigger copper kettle shining in the sunlight. Even children compared toys and treats, and Amina often felt the itch of wanting more. Her family lived modestly. Her father was a skilled rug repairer. He could reweave torn edges so perfectly they looked new. Her mother sold handmade cloth bags. There was no luxury, only enough to get by. One warm afternoon, as Amina sat at the shop counter waiting for her father to return from delivering a rug, she muttered to her grandmother, who was shelling pistachios nearby. "Why can't we have nice things like other people? Our clothes are always simple. Our food is plain." Her grandmother looked at her for a long moment, then reached into a tin box and pulled out a small fraying cloth pouch. Inside was nothing valuable, just little strips of paper, each with something written in her careful script. Every morning, her grandmother said, "I write something I am thankful for, no matter how small. At the end of the year, I read them, and I realize I am richer than I thought." Mina wrinkled her nose. "But what if nothing good happens?" Her grandmother smiled. "You ate breakfast today, didn't you? You have shoes, friends, and parents who come home every night. If you cannot see good in these, you will never see it in bigger things." The next morning, her grandmother pressed a tiny stack of paper into Amina's hands. "Try it," she urged. "One thing, every day." So Amina began. At first, her entries were small and hesitant. "The sun was warm this morning. Baba let me taste his tea. I found a pretty marble in the street." It felt silly at first, like keeping track of unimportant details, but her grandmother's delighted nod after each note encouraged her to keep going. Weeks passed, and Amina noticed something strange. She began to look for things to be grateful for. A cobbler's joke while repairing her sandal. The way rainwater patterned the street tiles. A stranger handing her mother a guava from their cart just because. Her world had not grown richer with money, but she felt wealth blooming inside her like a secret garden. One season, the bazaar suffered a great setback. A fire broke out in the alley after a lantern fell in a cloth stall. Several shops, including her father's repair stall, were damaged. The family salvaged what they could, but business slowed, and for weeks, their meals were smaller and simpler. Many neighbors were bitter, complaining daily of what they had lost. Amina, now 11, still squatted each morning near the balcony window to write her note. "We are safe. The neighbor shared bread with us. The wind is cool today." Her grandmother noticed. "Now you understand why we keep these notes," she said. "When storms come, they remind us the sun still rises." Years passed. Amina finished school and began helping her parents in the shop. She no longer needed her grandmother to remind her. She kept a small journal in her bag everywhere she went. She called it Threads because each line felt like a strand connecting her to moments worth keeping. While others in the market chased whatever was newest or bigger, Amina's contentment began to stand out. Customers liked talking to her. She listened and smiled in a way that made them feel seen. Traders brought her small gifts from faraway towns, saying her happiness was contagious. When her father's knees began to ache from years at the loom, Amina took a bold step. She moved to a larger city to work at a textile house, hoping to send money home. The city was fast, crowded, and competitive. Many of her co-workers were constantly stressed, complaining about deadlines and unfair clients. For Amina, the adjustment was hard too. She missed home, the slower laughter of the bazaar. But every morning before starting work, she pulled out her threads diary and wrote at least one small thing. The way sunlight struck the white cloth rolls, a coworker offering her half a sandwich, the hum of sewing machines that reminded her of home. 1 year into her work, the textile house faced a severe order cancellation. Many workers panicked, afraid they might be sent home without pay until new clients came. When Amina's manager saw her steady work and calm attitude, he asked her how she stayed so composed. She smiled and said, "Because I still have hands to work, a roof over my head, and friends to stand beside me. This may not last, but while it's here, I'm thankful." That conversation stayed with him, and when the company had to choose only a few workers to retain during the downtime, Amina was among them. Her gratitude had made her reliable and positive in the eyes of others. Years later, Amina returned to her hometown to care for her aging parents. The bazaar had changed, newer shops had come, some old traders gone. But the smell of bread and spices still floated in the air. On her first morning back, she unpacked a thick bundle of her oldest gratitude notes, the edges yellowed with time. She showed them to a group of market children. They laughed at first, but as they read, "Ma told me a story about a talking cat. Baba fixed my broken toy cart. The moon was huge tonight." Their eyes softened. She began teaching them how to keep threads of their own. Sometimes she'd see them sitting on shop steps, scribbling happily, smiles on their faces for no obvious reason. In time, the bazaar seemed lighter. People shared more, complained less. It wasn't that problems vanished, it was that gratitude gave them a way to face those problems with a steady heart. Amina realized her grandmother's little cloth pouch had been more powerful than any treasure chest. It had taught her that life wasn't about collecting bigger, shinier things. It was about collecting moments. And moments were everywhere if you knew to look. Gratitude is like a thread, small, humble, and often invisible, but strong enough to weave joy into the hardest of days. When you practice noticing the good, you train your eyes and heart to see beauty where others see nothing. And that quiet strength can carry you through any storm.